Oh my. I'm live. Would you look at that? I don't do this as much as I should. Live stream, you know? I think I haven't been doing it as much because as you can see, my workspace is a little out of order, a little disorderly. It's not out of order. I mean, it's working because I'm working all the time, but it's disorderly. Yeah. Well, look at this. We've got our first viewer of the evening. Excellent. This is really the most terrible part about live streaming is the fact that you just go live and nobody's there. Just talk to yourself, screaming into the void, or softly speaking into the void. Oh, we had one viewer, or we had two viewers, and now we have one. Look at that. Maybe YouTube isn't going to let people know that I'm doing this. Probably because it knows that I have something to promote, like my tour. My big. Oh God, look at that. The number's just going up and going down, and going up and going down. All right. Well, I guess I could just go if YouTube isn't going to serve this to people. You hear that, YouTube? Could just sign off here. Just hit that end stream right there. What do you think? Oh, there we go. Oh, there's a couple of... Ooh, now it's warming up. We get comments, too. Look at that. All right. Now we're cooking with fire. Oh, my Lord. My phone's going off. I got 9 viewers up in here. Crazy. Look at that. All right. Grüße aus Moors. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo das ist, aber viele Grüße zurück. Hey there. Hello, Brandon. Moin. I mean, it's not the morning, but, you know. Moin, moin. Just got an alert. Excellent. Look at that. YouTube sending out the alerts like a good platform. As I was saying before I considered canceling this whole thing, the live stream, not the tour. I haven't been live streaming much, and I feel like it's because my studio is in a bit of disarray. But that's not exactly true. I've been quite busy. As many of you know, Aesthetic Perfection is playing live again. We're doing a ton of festivals this summer, and it feels like for the next couple of weeks, it's just like a festival every single weekend, which doesn't leave a whole lot of time. And as you can tell, I'm also like a bloody, juicy like mess. I look like packed meat in the grocery store because I've got this fresh tattoo, and I don't know what I was thinking, like agreeing to get like this massive chest piece while I'm trying to kind of plan a tour and get through a summer full of live shows. But hey, you know, no rest for the wicked. That's really what it's about. Just doing all the things because you can. Excited to see the new chest piece. I mean, as you can see, it's here. It's very chesty. You can probably hear it. The plastic making the little crunchy, crinkly sound that it does. I was doing my singing warm-ups today, like these shoulder rolls. Ow. And it just friggin' hurts. But you know, in addition to no rest for the wicked, they also say no pain, no gain. So, you know, I'm just a living, breathing idiom today. All right. So, anyway, what are we doing here? Why are we here? We are here to talk about the fact that we are actually going on tour, like a proper tour for the first time in 3 years, which is pretty freaking wild. And I just wanted to let you all know that tickets are on sale now, and you should get them, because the most effective way to support the bands that you love is to buy merchandise from them, follow them on Spotify or on whichever platform you stream from, or, and this is probably the best way actually, is to buy pre-sale tickets to their events. In a post-COVID world, sorry, I didn't want to get this censored here. In a post-pandemic world, a lot of people don't have trust in. A lot of people don't have trust in the fact that shows and tours are going to be taking place. They're very, very hesitant about buying tickets, and it makes promoters very, very hesitant to actually invest in bands. And when a band can demonstrate that they have an audience who are not only willing to like show up for the show, maybe last minute, but actually plan ahead of time, buy the tickets ahead of time, show that trust that they have in their favorite bands, it makes a big difference. And just to illustrate this, we did just a mini sort of advance ticket sale thing, buy, you can get your tickets early with a code for a number of cities, but LA specifically sold 1/6 of the tickets in this 12-hour period, which is really just unthinkable. So much so that the venue wrote the promoter wow, I cannot believe that they sold this many tickets. Just with this code promotion, we didn't even promote it very well. We literally just we put it up on Instagram. That's it. And that makes people talk. That makes people go, oh wow, this might be an artist worth trusting, worth investing in, worth giving future opportunities. So this is why it's so important for all of you to be proactive and to support the bands that you want to see succeed by buying pre-sale tickets to their tours, following them on Spotify, because following them is much more active participation than passive listening, because most people just get served music by the algorithm. Actually, following a band shows that you are an active listener, which means a whole lot more than monthly listeners. You can go on Spotify and see a band that has 1 million monthly listeners, and then you go to their bio and scroll down and see they've just got 1,000 followers. And it's yeah, there's a huge disconnect there, because a lot of those plays are either fake or it's because they got onto a playlist and all of the listeners are passive. People might not even know the name of the band or give a shit to ever listen to them again. So, and of course, buying merchandise as well, because merchandise has the largest profit margin for artists, especially independent artists. The people like me who are manufacturing, printing all of their own merchandise themselves. We don't have any managers or labels sticking their grubby little fingers into the pie, so to speak. So this is really the way that you can most effectively support the bands that you love. And if you love my band, then it would mean a lot to me if you would pick up tickets to the American Psycho North American Tour, our first tour in 3 years. And as we just announced yesterday, the cat is out of the bag. Detroit's own Josie Pace will be direct support, and of course, my good friend David Dutton in Gen Cab going on tour with us again, but this time with his own band, with his own project. I'm so glad to see that David resurrected Gen Cab and finally released a new album. He's been doing this ever since before A Violent Emotion. I remember listening to Gen Cab demos, and then he put out his first record, Gemini Transmuter, I want to say in 2010, something like that. So it's been 12 years, and I'm super stoked that he's back. So it's a stacked lineup. It's going to be an incredible tour. I hope you guys are all going to join us. And that's it. That's my sales pitch for right now. So I can go to the chat and we can, chat a little bit. But I will remind you from time to time throughout this live stream how important it is to purchase pre-sale tickets to support your favorite bands. Love the mustache. Thank you very much. I did grow it myself. Not a lot of people like it. I don't even know if I like it, but that's kind of the point. I find it interesting that we in the alternative scenes in counterculture are so critical of the mainstream because we think of them as being shallow and we think of ourselves as being so open-minded. But then, when a part of our tribe, an artist sort of breaks some kind of fashion or social faux pas, like we're just as quick to jump on them and criticize them as, tabloid newspapers are of a celebrity who wore the wrong dress. I don't know. When I first sort of debuted the mustache, I had like a lot of people saying stuff to me like, "Oh, you used to be attractive, but now, you look like a, you look like a pedo, and I don't want to listen to your music anymore." Like, are you serious? I mean, I actually knew that this was going to happen, but when it actually does happen, you have to kind of just scratch your head and go, are people really this shallow? Are people really this sort of predictable? And the whole point here is to kind of like highlight how tribalistic and closed-minded we in the dark scene are and can be, and hopefully to kind of like hold up a mirror to the scene a little bit and make people stop and think, hey, does it really matter what like my favorite band wears? Does it really matter if I find them attractive? Because a lot of people seem to care about that. I mean, I understand that is something that is very common in the mainstream world. But if we're going to sit there and criticize people and be like, yeah, I don't like you anymore because you're not hot anymore, that is something else. And aesthetic perfection really was always about challenging the idea of beauty and beauty standards and how people interpret beauty, because it's such a subjective thing, right? Yeah, so I'm glad you like the mustache. It really is a bit of performance art here. We'll see how long it lasts. I think I'll shave it off as soon as other people start growing it. Like, so once I go to like clubs and see people with the sideburns and the mustache, I'll be like, "Yep, time to go. It's out." I can't believe it's been 3 years since you've toured already. I know. Time flies when you're not having fun. No, obviously, like I tried to keep as busy as I could during the whole situation the last couple of years, but it really did move so quickly. It really does feel like just, I don't know, 5-6 months ago that we did the North American tour, and then we did the tour with Lindemann, and then the world shut down, and then there was just no more tours. And now we're back on it, and it's interesting because I feel like I'm a very different person now, although the time didn't feel like it lasted as long as it really was, right? So it's a very interesting space to occupy mentally because, on one hand, it didn't feel like it was a lot of time, but on the other, it was a lot of time, and so much happened that sort of influenced not just me as a person, but society overall. It's peculiar, but I guess that's just how life goes. I got an almond skin stuck in my throat, and I've been pretending it's not there for like the last how long have I been doing this? 10 minutes? But now it's finally caught up with me. Ah, yes, the stash is growing on me too. Excellent. As soon as you love it, it's gone. It's out. I wish I could just once go to a show of aesthetic perfection. I mean, you can do it. Why can't you do it? What's holding you back? I believe in you. Trust me. We're here for you. If anything, if we can do anything to make our show accessible to you, you just let me know. I will see you in Atlanta. Excellent. Atlanta. Great spot, always wonderful to us. Tell you what, I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm just gonna drop the direct link for the Atlanta show right in the chat, because here's the thing. We're playing the Purgatory, the small room at Masquerade, and call me crazy, I think we can sell it out. I think that we can actually sell out Atlanta. We've come close before. We haven't managed to do it. I believe in us. And we got so close to selling out LA last time, and we got so close to selling out what was it last time? We got so close. We had like 10 tickets to go. And it did me a sad. It did me a sad because we were right there. But I want to sell out New York. I want to sell out LA. I want to sell out Atlanta. It was Chicago. Last time we almost sold out Chicago. It was like 10 tickets away. We should sell out Chicago too. What do you guys think? How is the tattoo healing? It's not healing yet. It is just a big, sloppy, disgusting mess. It really does just look like grocery store packed meat. It is bloody. It hurts. I will probably keep the plastic on until I go to bed tonight, and then maybe just sleep on a towel so that I can goo and drip everywhere. I was going to say not in a gross way, but it is a really freaking gross way. So, it's disgusting. And all of the plasma that just comes out of you is impressive and revolting. Audio is not synced. Well, I don't know what to tell you. The speed test, we were at 28 megabits download and 9 megabits upload. If it's not synced, I can't help you. There's no reason why it shouldn't be synced. Because loopback is not activated. I'm like 99% sure loopback is not activated. And loopback is not activated. So this is a YouTube problem, not a Daniel problem. I'm sorry, you will just have to live with the audio that is not perfectly in sync. Maybe it'll catch up with us later. Who knows? How about a European tour, especially some gig in Germany? I was thinking about my first tattoo at the age of 40, an Aesthetic Perfection logo. Well, Christian, I highly support getting an Aesthetic Perfection logo. If you do it, take a picture. I'd love to see it. I'll share it on my socials. We are playing in Germany right now, like all over the place. We're playing East Side Festival in Halle in just a few short days. And then we're playing in Friedrichshafen at the Bodensee. And then we are playing, we just played VGT. We're playing Amphi Festival. And Etropolis Festival in Oberhausen. And we also just played in Oberhausen. And then we just played in Berlin. So we're doing a lot of stuff in Germany. Don't not give me credit for playing in Germany, because we're playing a lot in Germany. Now, when we're talking about the full-blown European tour, that is going to be in 2023. It's going to start in the UK in March, and then go all through Europe and go through mainland Europe in April to May. So that will be announced probably around October, November, because it is still being booked, except for the UK leg, which is done and dusted. We will be announcing that probably a little bit beforehand. The only person that should care if they like the mustache is your wife. She doesn't like the mustache, and I don't blame her. Like they are. It's uncomfortable for me. I can't even imagine what it would be like to kiss somebody with one of these things on their face. It is a freaking nightmare. So, if anybody deserves a lot of credit for being a big trooper throughout my artistic, my bit of performance art here, it is my wife. Because this thing is uncomfortable as hell. It doesn't even look good, but here we are. The scene is so incredibly shallow. So much of it is built off of style and not substance. The real irony is, though, is that remember, like when the dark scene, like when the goth scene got going, like there were no companies mass producing like goth clothing. You had to like make it. You would have to like buy either clothes that were black and modify it, or, you know, whatever. It's like, I even remember when I was a kid in the 90s, it like was not easy to get like goth clothes. And somehow this scene, this style that was sort of like built off of being an individual, off of like taking your taste, interpreting it through whatever it is that you had available, because, you know, what's on the rack at the local Sears is what's on the rack at the local Sears, and you just got to make do with that. And, you know, also interpreting that through your own personal taste. I feel like there was a lot more diversity within the dark scene just 25 years ago. Both musically and in terms of the fashion. But things have become so homogenized in the last 20 or so years that it really does just feel more like people are wearing, you know, the outfit. They're wearing the costume rather than sort of expressing an accurate version of themselves. And I get it. You know, I get it that it's easier to just go and buy some shit from Killstar instead of make your own clothes. I get it. And I don't make my own clothes either, but most of my outfits are just literally garbage that I buy like on the rack at H&M or New Yorker or whatever. And I just put it together in ways that I think are interesting. And this really is something that I think is worth really highlighting, the resistance to individuality in the underground, because we have become just so homogenized. We have become really everything that we were rebelling against at the beginning. You know, we always talk about mainstream as being super close-minded, super resistant to change and individuality, and everybody's just like, oh, look at these people, you know, wearing their corporate slave outfit, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we're doing almost the same thing, just in black. And it's not even that I would have a problem with it if people weren't so critical of, you know, the mainstream, where that's kind of just how it is. Like it doesn't bother me that regular people on the street are all wearing like the same clothes that they bought from, you know, H&M or whatever. Like that, I don't sit there and go like, normies, right? So if people in the dark scene didn't do that, I wouldn't care. And if they wouldn't do that to me, I would certainly not care. But I really do want to try to point out the irony here, because I'm secure enough in myself to where like I don't really give too many poops about what people think, because it's kind of like my job to be, I don't know, divisive. And I like what I do. So if people want to say that they hate my music now because they don't like my mustache, well, you know, bye. It's fine. But I do want to at least give people something to think about. Love the collaboration you did with Julian K. Two of my favorite artists working together was not even on my radar. Yeah, actually, I've been talking to Ryan about doing something like this for a very, very long time. I've known Ryan and Amir since we did the tour with Combi Christ back in 2009, so it's been a minute. We well, I don't want to say like we just sort of fell out of touch over the years, but we recently reconnected and talked about how we could do something cool together. And they had this excellent idea about the alternate universe project where bands for one project act like they're in one band together, and I think it was really, really cool. So I love the way that my version of Shut Down Your Soul turned out. I think a lot of people really like it as well. And it's a unique, exciting idea. I love it. Super, super honored to be a part of it. And of course, Ryan and Amir are great guys. Just got tickets for Halloween in Seattle. It's going to be super fun, awesome, super, super humbled that you would want to spend your Halloween with little old me, little old Jen Cab, little old Josie Pace. But I promise you it's going to be a great time. Maybe we'll even bring some candy. Ooh. Just lost the chat for a second. Ah. There we go. Okay. When are you coming to Nordic countries like Sweden and Finland? Yeah, we are working on a Scandinavian leg of the European tour, which is going to take place in spring 2023. We're actually working on Swedish shows and Danish shows. But just a reminder, we are playing Electronic Summer in Gothenburg in like a month. So we will be in Sweden in like, I don't know why I looked at a watch that doesn't exist, but we'll be in Sweden in like 5. This thing doesn't even work. It's not even ticking. We'll be in Sweden in 5 weeks. Hello from Texas. Seen you several times with some of my other favorite bands like God Module, Combi Christ, Suicide Commando. I'm ready to see you again in Houston. Houston is going to be a great show. I always love playing in Texas. Like Texas is, I don't know. I love the food. I love the people. They're so nice. I love the weather. I grew up in the desert. So, like I just vibe with Texas and love me some Lone Star beer. The only thing I don't like is the bottled water. The bottled water in Texas all tastes like dust. I don't know why. But yes, see you in Houston. Toronto, maybe. Of course we're playing in Toronto. Do you want the Toronto ticket? Link? I'll give you the Toronto ticket link. I think we can also sell out Toronto too. Wouldn't that be gnarly if we sold out a bunch of Wouldn't it be gnarly if we sold out a bunch of the shows? As long as you like the mustache, my man, I say go for the wizard beard. As I said, I don't even like the mustache. I don't like it. It is uncomfortable. I don't think that it looks great. But this is the point. It is performance art. You suffer for your art. LC sent me $3. Well, thank you. I like the super chat. The super chat's great. I appreciate that very much. I'll put it towards gas for the upcoming tour. Oh my God. And Oh, look at that. Scam likely bothering me in the middle of my live stream. It's probably somebody to check on my car's warranty. I don't even have an American car anymore. Roz, thank you so much for the 10 pounds. I will put that into the gas tank in the UK. Sorry, the petrol tank. That's what I'll do. So, what city are you most excited about for your tour? Any sightseeing or something like that planned? Unfortunately, when it comes to touring, you really have no opportunity to do any kind of sightseeing, especially with an itinerary that is as packed as the one that we've got. It's literally like 6 shows a week, 1 day off, and those are going to be drive days. Really, when you're on tour, I think a lot of people have this misconception. A lot of people have this idea in their head that touring is just like, it's one big party where, you're just like drinking and having fun the whole time, or, that you have all of this excess time to go out and kind of absorb the local sites or culture, or restaurants, whatever. I mean, if you're lucky, there's a decent restaurant right next to the club and you get to go there. But for the most part, you're really only seeing the inside of your bus, the inside of the club, and the inside of gas stations. That's it. So I've probably traveled more than most people, in the world. But I've probably seen less than most people because I just don't ever have the luxury of taking in anything local. Like one person said, "Oh yeah, you should take a drive up the coast of one of the Great Lakes in Minnesota and just, watch the sunrise and all this kind of stuff." And I mean, it's like, yeah, I'd love to. I would absolutely love to, but not when you're on tour. When you're on tour, it is just a very, very intense schedule where what matters most is getting enough sleep, getting enough food, and putting on a great show. It's really all you can. It's all you really have the mental bandwidth for. What are you reading these days? So I am on the second to last book of the Expanse series. I don't actually consider myself a very big fan of science fiction, but my brother-in-law gave me the first book from the Expanse series, and I read it, not to humor him, but I was like, okay, I mean, I wouldn't normally read this, but I'll check it out. So I did, and I got completely addicted to it. So for the last couple of years, I've been really just chewing through all of the Expanse books. I'm on the last 2 right now. In the interim, I read all of the Hunger Games books in German because my German is probably at about the high school level. And so I really wanted to put that to the test. So I read all of the Hunger Games books, the whole trilogy in German. And then I'm always reading books on songwriting and lyric writing, because I feel like there's never a limit to what you can learn. So I always try to become a better songwriter, better singer, better lyric writer, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I read books like that. Hey, Daniel, it's Paul from Facebook. Hi, Paul from Facebook. It's Daniel from Facebook. Excited for the tour? Hopefully we'll see you in Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore is going to be great. First show of the tour. I hope you guys show up with bells on and your most excited faces. Here, how about I pass you all the link to Baltimore so you can get your tickets? Because remember, one of the most effective ways to support your favorite bands is with pre-sale tickets. I know, yeah, there's way more people now than there was when I went on this rant the first time. Especially in a post world where things are opening up again, a lot of people don't have trust in artists and are very, very reluctant to buy pre-sale tickets, which is why when there are audience members who will buy advance tickets to something, it really, really means a lot in the music industry. Like, people notice. And like I said, after the advance ticket sale that we had for the LA show, we sold like 1/6 of the tickets in like just 6 hours after sharing a code on Facebook. It was so impressive that the venue wrote the promoter to be like, this is crazy. This is impressive. So people notice, and it really does help ensure that, your favorite bands get to continue to tour, get to have opportunities, because these ticket sales are very often used as a metric to justify, other opportunities, right? So like, let's say a bigger band would come along and be like, oh yeah, you want to open for us? How many tickets did you sell in this city? Yeah, well, you sold, 300-400 tickets. Oh, wow. Great. Yeah. Okay. You can come on board. This is really how the music business works. They really want like hard numbers, especially in an age where most numbers are fudged, right? Like, you can buy listeners, you can buy clicks. You can get your music in front of tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people. No problem. You can get millions of listeners, but do you get people that actually care about what it is that you do? That's a different story entirely. So, if you guys want to support me, it would mean a lot to me if you would grab tickets to our upcoming Our American Psycho North American tour. There you go. It's a lot of Americans in there. What books or shows will you enjoy while traveling? Again, I don't have time for much. I'll probably be done with the Expanse series. I always do reading before bed. So I'll probably bring songwriting books, or I don't know, I got to find maybe like another series to sink my teeth into, like book series. When I'm on tour, I never have time to watch TV, ever. So yeah, maybe I'll find a new book series to get into. Thank you, Des Bear, for the £10. I will absolutely add that to the petrol till for the upcoming UK tour. It's going to be in March 2023. On tour equals work, work, work. Yeah, there's really nothing else to do on tour but work. And I understand why a lot of people drink heavily when they're on tour. I mean, that's what I used to do. You're just so stressed that you need something to kind of like calm you down, numb the pain, the physical and emotional pain of being on tour. It's not easy. It's really, really a difficult job. And I get why drugs and alcohol are very, very appealing. And I used to do it myself a lot, but it's just completely unsustainable because, after a couple of weeks, you're just a wreck. And, you can't even effectively do your job anymore because you're either too hungover or too drunk. By the end, you got to be one or the other, because with that amount of alcohol, there's no middle ground. So, I tend to go really, really easy these days. Maybe have like a beer after show. But any more than that, it just starts to become a problem, or make the work harder. So I try to be much more responsible these days. I recently read A Tale of Two Cities based on your recommendation. A great book. Thank you very much. Actually did a German book report on A Tale of Two Cities. It was well received. Glad people like it. It's a great book. A little bit hard to read, but I understand it's Charles Dickens. Did you read it in English, or did you read it translated into Russian? A hint for the St. Paul show. The place that you're playing sells actual food. It's fairly priced and tasty. I will keep that in mind. That's always very convenient. Your guest musicians on your European shows are masked and secret. When will you reveal the secret? I don't know. Maybe I never will. Do you want to know who those people are? Austin, Texas is the closest thing to me. Not sure if I could make it. You should go farther south, like the RGV. So you guys have to remember that in sort of the grand scheme of things, Aesthetic Perfection is a tiny band. We are not big by any stretch of the imagination. Compared to even like mid-tier rock bands that have like 500,000 to 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify a month, like those people that can play in places like South Texas, we can't. Like, there's just not enough of an audience there to justify us coming down. Now, don't forget, a show costs thousands of dollars to put on, between gas, accommodation, crew fees, all that kind of stuff. Like, a show can cost anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 just to make happen. And so if there's only 2 people in the room, your show actually costs you money as opposed to makes you money. So I don't think that it is realistic for us to play in South Texas anytime soon, because we're still a very, very small band. However, if we do continue to grow, and the band has been growing, especially during the situation last year, surprisingly, the band grew, which is kind of unheard of, right? But, you know, we actually grew. If people like you are willing to buy tickets, travel, and come see us, you know, in a city that is inconvenient for you, that makes a difference, because let's say that show in Austin sells out. Live Nation will notice that. And then perhaps other opportunities will present themselves to allow the band to grow faster and grow quicker. And then maybe, hopefully, at some point in the future, we will be able to play South Texas. But as things stand now, South Texas just is not, it's not a viable, you know, to speak industry lingo, it's not a viable market for us, which is shitty, because we want to, you know, we're like vampires. We want to go wherever we're invited. But the sort of financial limitations are real, and we can't ignore them. I read Tale of Two Cities in English. It wasn't too complicated. Well, hey, you're a better English speaker than me. I don't know. I had to sit there with a dictionary and look up all those old-fashioned words. There is a scene in McAllen. Maybe, but not for us. Like, that's just the reality of things. Like, if there's no demand, it won't happen. That's just how it is. And maybe you guys do have a local goth night, which is successful, which is great. But you know, when we look at our demographics, you know, there's nobody really for us in South Texas, you know, except for maybe 2 of you guys. Is the video out of sync, or is it just me? I think the video is out of sync, but it's not my fault. It's YouTube's fault, because my internet is blistering fast, and none of my audio is dealing with any latency issues, unless. Uh-huh. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Looks like everything is on the up and up on my end. So I'm just going to blame, oh God, I'm just going to blame YouTube. How's the scene in New York City? Just saw you're coming this October. New York is great. We got really close to. Actually, I think we did sell out New York last time. I do believe the venue is a little bit bigger, but you know, if we actually did grow as much as we hope, then there's a chance New York will sell the frick out. So here's the New York link right here. Bam, boop. No, there is no offset option on YouTube that can be tweaked. I'm sorry, guys. Like the YouTube backend does not allow any of that kind of stuff. Look here, I'll even go into my preferences. Yeah. The only thing I can do is delay the audio, so I can delay it even more if you like. Here. How about we do that? How about that? Or this? No, we don't want that. Oh. It says the New York link is too long. Copy link. Let's try this now. New York. Boom. Better. Would love for y'all to come to Nashville, but living here among the local artists, I know that sentiment. Again, we are like vampires. We will go wherever we're invited, but Nashville is just not a market for us. We played in Nashville like once in 2008, I believe, and there was like 10 people there, and no one ever asked us to come back. Like literally nobody. So the band really does need to reach, I think, a certain level in order to play places like Nashville, South Texas. You know, I even get like requests from time to time for like Bozeman, you know, Montana. And, you know, I would love to play in Bozeman, believe me. But it's hard out there. And I think people just don't realize how small we are. Like we are a freaking tiny band. We are small as hell. Usually closing and reopening the stream works, but doesn't look like that's working. Shall I close the stream? Because then this will end. Are you guys that bothered by this? Like, who gives a Freund? I mean, I can just leave. I'll just leave. I'm just going to go. No, it's not fine. I'm out of here. Never coming back ever again. Wait, where is it? Does RSVP for cities and bands in town make a difference when you are planning a tour? No. No, it doesn't. The only thing that matters are tickets sold. I swear. Like, so many of these things can be faked. What you cannot fake are ticket sales. I mean, and you can. Some bands do. Some bands will like buy up all the tickets for their shows and then try to like give them away. But that's a lot harder to do, and it's a lot more expensive. Like a band like my own can't afford to to like buy up every ticket for every show and then just try to give them away and like create a false sense of success. It doesn't really work that way. But yeah, I mean, ticket sales are the gold standard in 2022. Did I hear that Josie Pace is going to be on tour with y'all? Yes, I did mention that at the beginning of the stream, but yeah. Josie Pace and Jen Cab will be joining me. I'm super excited to have them along for the ride. They are both incredible artists and both have put out amazing new records, within like the last 6 months, and I highly suggest checking them out. If I knew another fan out here in New York that would come pick me up and take me to the gig, I would be so happy. You should join our Discord because we have a channel, we have a sub-channel for every single show on the tour that is precisely for this purpose, for meetups, ride sharing, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure Aaron or Roz will drop the Discord link in here for you. Join us, and they will happily show you around, and I think that you will probably be able to find somebody to go with you to the New York show. I wish you were playing at the Rave in Madison. I don't care for Chicago, but I will make the trip. I really, really appreciate that, Scully. Thank you very much. We tried to make Wisconsin happen on this tour. We almost never skip Wisconsin. We either play in Madison or we play in Milwaukee, but for whatever reason, logistically, it just didn't happen. So I will do my best to make sure it happens next time, but I really appreciate you making the trek to Chicago to see us. It means a lot. I just want to say Happy Face got me through some difficult moments this past year. It helped me when listening to both versions. Thank you. I mean, it's really, really humbling to hear that the music that I make to kind of make sense of what is going on in my own head is relevant and helpful to other people, because I think that at the end of the day, we're all essentially the same, human beings. We all have very similar wants and fears and needs, and sometimes just watching somebody else kind of go through those struggles and working on them and coming out the other side is just what we need to do that for ourselves, or maybe help articulate those things that we weren't even aware of for us. Like, even though I'm an artist, there's a lot of things that go on in my own head that I'm incapable of seeing because I don't have any perspective, and I'll, consume a piece of art, and that really shines a light on what it is that I'm going through. And I think that that's what makes art so important to humanity. It's such an important part of existence, and I feel very, very honored to be a part of that, to be a creator who makes stuff that is valuable to people. So thank you. Okay, I'm in the Discord, so check the Discord and see if there's anybody in the New York channel that wants to go with you. I believe in you. Will you be making any artist-to-artist, having any new artist-to-artist discussions this year, or will it be all about touring? Joey and I have talked about making the artist-to-artist discussion like a full-on podcast, but, things are so hectic right now, like I can barely even keep up with all of my current responsibilities. The idea of trying to like create and promote a podcast just at the moment sounds very, very exhausting and stressful. So I don't think I'll be doing any more discussions this year. We'll see what next year brings. But I am trying to write a new album, which I guess is probably more important. All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on just an hour here, so it's actually dinner time for me. So I'm gonna go do that. But I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me, listening to me rant and rave about all of my, wild opinions about mustaches and art and all of that kind of stuff. If you are in North America, I hope you will join us on the American Psycho North American Tour with my good friend Jen Cab and one of my favorite new artists, Josie Pace. You can find all of the dates and ticket links right here. And if you haven't yet, join us on Discord, where you can meet an amazing community of people who will, point you to the sub-Discords where you can perhaps find rides and people to party with in your local city. And lastly, of course, if you want to support Aesthetic Perfection even more, you can join us on Patreon. Over the last couple of years, we have built an amazing community there, and it would not be possible for me to continue doing what it is that I do without the help of all of my supporters. So if you are a Patreon supporter and you are here with me, thank you all so much. I think that does it for me today. I'll try and deal with the sync issue next time, but thank you for putting up with it today. Whatever time it is, wherever you are, morning, evening, middle of the night, thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you all very, very soon.